This iPhone 13 spent the whole night at the bottom of a swimming pool, completely dead when we got it. Just look closely, you can still see water trapped inside the front camera. Most people would call a lost cause, but not us. Today, we're going to open it up, dry it out, and see if we can bring this phone back to life. Stick around. This is going to be an interesting one. Now, let's remove the SIM tray. And look at this. The SIM card is completely soaked in water. This confirms the phone took in quite a bit of water overnight. Let's look inside the SIM port closely. You can still see water drops sitting inside. That means there's definitely more water trapped inside the phone. Okay, time to open this iPhone up. Let's see what we're dealing with inside. First thing, we got to take out these two tiny screws at the bottom. They're the only thing holding the screen in place, so once they're out, we can start lifting the display. Let's carefully start prying this display open. I'm using a thin razor blade to work my way along the edge and break the adhesive seal. Nice and slow, so nothing gets damaged. Once the edges are loose, I'll switch to my hands and gently pull the screen open. You want to go slow here, keeping even pressure until the whole display starts to lift. Now we can swing the screen open to the left, just like opening a book, which keeps all the flex cables safe and gives us a clear view inside. And just like that, we're in. With the phone open, we can finally see what's going on inside. And look at that, there's still tiny water drops all over the components. You can see them shining under the light. This confirms that water got deep into the phone, and we'll need to completely dry everything out before we even think about turning it back on. Even the water damage sticker has turned bright red, a clear sign this phone was fully soaked. Before we start, let's place something underneath the display for a little support. This keeps it safe while we work. Now we can start removing all the screws holding the internal metal shield in place. Take your time and keep track of each screw, because they're all different sizes and need to go back exactly where they came from. Step by step, we'll get the shield off and move on to the next part of the repair. Now that the screws are out, it's time to carefully remove the metal shields. I'm using tweezers to lift them off slowly so nothing inside gets damaged. Next, we'll disconnect the battery connector first. This is super important for safety, and then the display connector from the motherboard. Once both are safely disconnected, we can set the display aside for now. With the screen out of the way, we have full access to the internal components, and we're ready for the next step of the repair. Now it's time to clean all the water inside the phone. I'm gently brushing off the drops and using some isopropanol alcohol to make sure every component is dry and clean. Take your time here. You want to get every corner and tiny part because even a single drop left behind can cause problems later. Now that we've cleaned the board, let's hope no water made its way inside the layered board. I really don't want to separate it right now. Next, let's check the GR values. The readings on the battery connector look good, which is a great sign. That means we can move ahead with reassembling and testing the phone. Now let's disconnect all the connectors on the motherboard one by one. This is just to check if any water or fungus has built up underneath. Careful inspection is super important here. Even a little corrosion can cause big problems later. Luckily, everything looks clean and dry, so there's nothing to worry about. That's a huge relief, and we can move on to putting everything back together. Now we'll reconnect all the connectors back to the motherboard, nice and secure, and set the phone aside for the next step. This is the display. It looks perfectly fine, no signs of corrosion anywhere. Hopefully, it's still working when we plug it back in. Now it's time to reconnect the display strip back to the phone. I'm lining it up carefully with the connector and pressing it down gently until it clicks into place. It's super important to make sure this connection is secure. A loose display connector can cause touch issues or even a black screen. Once everything is locked in, we're ready to test the phone. Now that everything's back in place, let's plug in the charger and see what happens. Hopefully, we don't get a water detection warning. There it is. The charging symbol just popped up. That means the display and the phone are both working. This is a really good sign after spending an entire night underwater. Now, let's give a moment and wait for the phone to fully boot up. iPhones are known for having pretty solid water resistance, and this iPhone 13 really proved it today. Even after all that time in the pool, it's still coming back to life. That's seriously impressive engineering. Credit where credit's due, Apple. This phone just might make a full recovery. And there we go. The phone has fully booted up and the touch is working perfectly. This iPhone 13 is officially back to life. If you enjoyed this repair, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and stay tuned for more amazing tech saves.